There was a time when people thought Titanfall was the future of shooters. Not Call of Duty, not Battlefield, Titanfall. Giant mechs falling from the sky, pilots flying across walls like sci-fi ninjas, movements so smooth it made every other FPS feel ancient. For a moment, it looked unstoppable. Then somehow, the franchise disappeared. No Titanfall 3, a divided fan base, Apex Legends taking over the universe, and millions of players wondering, what the hell happened? Because Titanfall didn't die in one moment, it died slowly, one mistake after another, and the weirdest part is the games were actually amazing. Before we get started, like, comment, and subscribe. I talk everything about gaming, so let's get into it. See, back in 2014, the FPS genre was getting stale. Every shooter felt the same. Boots on the ground, brown military maps, the same kill streak systems over and over. Then Titanfall showed up, and people lost their minds because Titanfall felt next gen. You weren't just a soldier anymore, you were a pilot. Wall running, double jumping, flying across maps at ridiculous speeds, and then you called down a Titan. That sound alone was enough to make players panic. You see, Titanfall mixed two games together, a fast arena shooter and giant mech warfare, and somehow it worked. The Titans weren't just vehicles, they felt like partners. BT before BT even existed, but Titanfall 1 had one giant problem. There was almost no real campaign. The story mode was basically multiplayer matches with dialogue playing in the background while everybody ignored it to farm kills. The gameplay was incredible though, but players wanted more. Still, fans believe Respawn would fix everything in the sequel, and honestly, they almost did. Then, in 2016, Titanfall 2 released and somehow improved almost everything about the first one. The movement was smoother, the Titans had personality, the weapons felt incredible, but the biggest shock, there was a campaign. Because Titanfall 2's story had no business being that good, even people who never played Titanfall knew exactly what this game was. After just one mission, suddenly Titanfall 2 became one of the greatest FPS campaigns ever made. The game had everything: fast combat, creative mechanics, emotional moments, and multiplayer so addictive players were literally moving like caffeinated Spider-Man. Critics loved it, players loved it, so why in the world did this game fail? Because Respawn accidentally released Titanfall 2 in the middle of a war zone. You see, Respawn launched Titanfall 2 between two gigantic shooters, 1 week before Battlefield 1 and 1 week after Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now, it is no doubt that Titanfall 2 was the better shooter at the time, but these games did take a lot of the player base. What's even crazier too is EA published Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2, meaning EA accidentally strangled their own game. Players only have enough money for one game for their attention. Most picked Battlefield because it was a known franchise, and others stayed with Call of Duty because it was also very credible at the time. But Titanfall 2 became a I'll buy later type of video game. And in gaming, this type of mindset means that you'll never actually buy the game. This made the game underperform, not because it was bad, but because nobody had the time to notice how good it was. But Titanfall's biggest enemy wasn't Battlefield or Call of Duty, it was the game Respawn made next. In 2019, Respawn shadow dropped Apex Legends. This is when the Battle Royale era started and Fortnite was popping, so all game developers were trying to get on to Battle Royales. And overnight, this game did explode. Millions of players, top Twitch game, massive esports tournaments. Apex became one of the biggest games in the world, but Titanfall fans noticed something painful. Apex was set in the Titanfall universe. Without Titanfall. No Titans, almost no wall running, and slower movement. It felt like Titanfall's DNA had been extracted and rebuilt into a battle royale, and financially, it worked way better. Apex made an absurd amount of money. Skins, battle passes, events, collaboration, heirlooms. Respawn finally had their mega hit, which meant Titanfall slowly stopped mattering to them. Fans begged for Titanfall 3. Instead, they got another Apex season, another heirloom, another collective event. For Titanfall fans, it felt like being replaced. And then the hackers came in. Around 2021, Titanfall started collapsing. Hackers attacked the servers constantly. Matches crashed, players disconnected. The game became nearly unplayable. And for a while, Respawn barely said anything. Fans were furious, the community became completely unhinged, people started searching for hidden Titanfall 3 clues everywhere. People were saying things like Titanfall 3 is confirmed. A developer tweets an emoji, Titanfall 3 is confirmed. Even though they were saying things like that, it really did show the hope that people had for Titanfall 3. And honestly, I don't blame them, because Titanfall felt different. It wasn't just another FPS game, it felt creative, like a game made by people who actually loved movement shooters, and players couldn't let that go. It became a similar situation with the new Battlefront 3 petitions and things. Now here's the weird part, is Titanfall still isn't truly dead. People still replay Titanfall 2 all the time, still make montages, still speedrun the campaign, still talk about BT like he was a real person. And every few months, the rumors return, a new project, a canceled prototype, a secret Respawn game. Some fans think Titanfall 3 is inevitable, others think Apex permanently replaced it, and honestly, both might be true, because Apex became the most successful version of Titanfall. While Titanfall became the legendary one made money, the other made memories, and sometimes those aren't the same things when it comes to business. Titanfall should have been one of the biggest FPS franchises ever made. Instead, it became gaming's greatest what if. What if Titanfall 2 released at a different time? What if EA supported it better? What if Apex never happened? What if Titanfall 3 actually existed? We may never know. But one thing is certain, Titanfall didn't disappear because players stopped loving it. It disappeared because the gaming industry moved on. At the end of Respawn's timeline, something strange really happened. A bunch of former Titanfall and Apex developers left Respawn and created a new studio called Wildlight. Fans immediately got excited because if the people behind Titanfall were making another shooter, maybe this would finally capture that magic again. Then at the Game Awards 2025, they revealed Highguard, a fantasy PvP raid shooter with heroes, mounted combat, raids, and objective-based gameplay. And right away, people compared it to Titanfall and Apex, and it was garbage. The marketing leaned hard into it as well. From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, that line was everywhere, but the problem, players didn't want that from the creators of Titanfall, they wanted Titanfall. And when people finally saw Highguard, the reaction was rough. A lot of fans thought it looked generic, others called it another hero shooter, some compared it to Concord before the game even launched. And honestly, that is a fair assumption because that is extremely close to what happened to this game. We're at the end of the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. What are your thoughts on Titanfall 3 and will it ever come out?